G'day friends and fans, welcome to Tabletop News. I'm your host, the author David Applegate. Of course, just starting with the Bundle of Holding, my favourite site. Now, every week there are some that go and some that come. Now, this is a sort of a rebirth, a resurrection of November 22 tabletop science fiction role-playing ebooks from Mongoose. Traveller Explorations comes in the starter pack, $12.95, with a bonus collection. Now, this revived edition is one of two offers for Traveller from Mongoose. Everything you need to start playing Traveller, whether it be a campaign, desperate battles against even empires, or just free trade, mercenary campaigns, or desperate trader looking for their next meal ticket. Everything you need starts with the core updated rulebook for 2022. Updated in 2022. Now, of course, you get to level up. Now, if you pay above the threshold price of $29.61, you also get the bonus collection with 6 additional titles. Pay the minimum and you get the core rulebook, everything you need to get started, and a sector book, basically a star map, some details on the history and locations. Now, the Spinwood Marches is the starting point for Traveller campaigns across 6 decades. It is the border region between the Aslan hierarchy and the Zodani consulate, with various tumultuous politics of Deneb nearby. The marches are the gateway to the imperial frontiers and the crossroads of internal and external politics. And Deneb is the border of a collection of planet states where rivalries amongst its powerful dukes are the situation ripe for exploration, those with the wit and will, with the threat of corsairs behind them. And the Sword Worlds, a dangerous and complex territory. This is a bunch of worlds just beyond the imperial border, a distinct cultural region. This book details the Confederation, along with the truth behind the stereotypes of reckless space-going chauvinists and technologically outmatched people who stave off imperial dominance. There are some secrets to be learned, scores to be settled, and perhaps colonies yet to be found. Alright, level up, which I recommend you do. You get Aliens of Charter Space Volumes 1 and 2. This is details on the alien races. Now, each volume is one of several radio aces. Volume 1 presents the Aslan, Kree, Vanguard, and Zodani. Volume 2 details the cultures of the Somali, Drone, and Hivers. Sadavosk is a Traveller campaign for the Swords World. You start aboard a merchant cruiser. You're going through some subsectors on your way home, and there's profit to be made. However, there's also reputations to be made, hidden agendas to be uncovered, and a tricky path to be threaded through complex cross-border politics of the region. There's background information, the ship and its crew, and the opportunities for incidents, side trips, and mishaps along the way. Next up, 2 source books. One, The Bowman Arm, a section of the Spinwood Marches, and the Noon Shield Worlds. This is a group of star systems on the border between the Third Imperium and the Sword Worlds. Although on the Spinwood Main, these worlds are a backwater. Few major corporations are keen to invest. Surely a battleground for a future war. Smaller firms and private operators can move in and take up the slack, although it is a high-risk environment. Now, Deneb is a hotspot, and the Lost Duke is a mission. This is a recovery mission. However, it gets complicated. The simple task puts you at odds with a conquering force. You can help the people or leave them to the Red Death. Because you can help them. There's money to be made. That's Traveller in a nutshell. There's money to be made. Now, the Burning Wheel is a classic high crunch tabletop fantasy role-playing game. The whole collection, $19.95, gets you a medieval-themed fantasy role-playing game about the vibrant, dynamic characters whose beliefs propel the story. This is an early and influential indie classic. It sends you off on dozens of life paths that create well-rounded, broadly skilled characters with passionate motivations, a comprehensive array of interlocking rules for fighting, resources, sorcery, relationships, a duel of wits, and many more. It's a year-long campaign, and you only may touch a fraction of that rulebook in that year. But the more rules the player can master, the more rules you can master, the better you are, or richer, I should say, the game becomes. For those who commit to the bit, it delivers. $19.95 gives you 3 books in the collection. Now, this is the Gold Edition Revised. This is the main system core rulebook. It's a simple D6 core mechanic with various life paths and choices for you to be made. Now, the Burning Wheel refers to the life path at character creation. It's not just about the numbers, it's about ethics, beliefs, goals that not only affect the character, but the shape of the story. Every character is unique. The Codex is a grimoire for wizards and warriors. A trove of magical arts and a new set of life paths. Dark elves, wizard burners, rodent trolls, and great wolves. More than bargain for with 200 pages of new rules. And the anthology, variant rules put together over the years, some to simplify and others just revising injury treatment, permanent scars, and stuff to break your game. Get burning, eh? Get burning indeed. Next up, we have the second of the 2 Traveller offers, and that is Traveller Ancients, a 800-page adventure for Mongoose Traveller. One price, $17.95. Gets you the 3-part adventure. You start with unraveling a mystery which leads you to believe the ancients are real and eventually lead you to them, where you learn the secrets of the traveller, the ancient. Now, scholars can agree that the ancients are dead. However, they are wrong, and you eventually run into them and discover that there are secret factions in the Imperium. And wrath of the ancients, well, obviously, now that you've discovered these ancient power brokers, one decides to go on a reign of terror, and you have to develop your superhuman abilities and take on this ancient and stop them before they can complete their war machine. The fate of ancients and all of space is now in your hands. Better not have butterfingers, right? Next up is the Old Gods of Appalachia. This is a new cipher system horror game from Montcook. Now, the Old Gods, $7.95 gets you the base collection, the starter pack, and there's a bonus collection. This is a tabletop game of eldritch horror based on the Old Gods of Appalachia, an anthology podcast created by Steve Shell and Cam Collins. It's set in an alternative version of the Appalachian Mountains. The Old Gods tells of the green, the dark, and things even more ancient. Long before humans roamed the earth, the Appalachians towered tall. For eons, those peaks entombed beings of malice and unknowable hunger. However, the mountains are now mere hills, and the prison walls are worn thin. Now, the things that slumber are now restless and call on the people in the mountain hollows, whisper to those vulnerable to their temptations, and seek to influence our worlds. This was a phenomenal 2022 Kickstarter campaign driven by the cipher system. You play as characters who try to protect what matters. Now, this is a bundle, everything you need in the starter pack, 3 titles. However, if you pay above the threshold price of $16.87, you'll level up and get a bonus collection of 5 more titles. Now, in the starter pack, there's, of course, the core rulebook, the Appalachia RPG, including the player guide. And then you have the railway guide. This is a guide to the railway lines of alternate Appalachia. Now, this is set. This gives you the setting, right? And how to get around in that setting. Okay, this is Lock Rail, fictional alternative railroad company with a practical guide to the routes and stops in the rail network with fares and schedules. There's even an ad. However, of course, even the railroads aren't benign, and they're actively spreading the dark. Whoopsies. Well, bonus collection, which I recommend you do. Level up will get you Dig Your Own Grave. Now, this is a rules expansion for the Old Gods. Now, they're already rich characters, but Dig Your Own Grave enables you to build advanced characters with who you once were, what terrible choices you were faced with, and how they affect who you are today. There's new NPCs, character bonds, character arcs, and player intrusions, and new descriptions of foci. You have a lot of stuff to learn, of course. New foci descriptions and other options to help you create your characters. All right. This is all about backstory and motivations. Best Leave Them Ghosts Alone is a one-shot adventure about a childhood friend. Well, they're dead, allegedly, because you have to face that and come to terms with that, because this is someone you accidentally killed and then resurrected, and apparently still owe, and the bill is due. Gods of Appalachia decks is player resource cards. Now you earn XP, not for killing monsters, but for facing challenges, protecting those close to you, and uncovering dark forces and foiling sinister plots. As you rack up your XP, you can receive just experience points. This gives you tangible tokens for granting, tracking, and trading XP. This is tokens that you can put into your character book alongside your character sheets. There's 30 cutout cards. And of course, what game isn't without a game master screen with useful charts and tables for the old gods? Gotta get them names right. Next up, we have a revised, resurrected October 24 rules neutral system fantasy role-playing guide or aid or lists. It's a compendium of 20 giant things. Dread Thingonomicon is a collection of 73 chapters of role-playing tables, to inspire every game master, from the normal undead, alchemist's laboratory, dragon's lairs, fecund jungles, the noisome sewers of the orc village, what's the difference, the ruined city, an urban chase, a vampire's castle, and a wrecked ship. This is a complete 476-page collection from Raging Swan Press that is system neutral. Over at Game Masters rejoice because they've collected 7 years of 20 things, mini supplements, into one collection for you to populate and garnish your games. Now, there's 73 chapters as separate files. There's also a free supplement, free sample on the website for Raging Swan Press. Now, there's also for the Patreons originally, So one price gets you the entire bunch of lists and stuff to garnish, to dress up, to expand, to help you with session preparation, lists of flavorful NPCs, and more, to effortlessly add color and vermistitude to your game. Think about it. Goblins, hill giants, you name it, merchants, minions, manors, red dragon lairs, you name it. They've got something for everyone. Tales of the Valiant is a Black Flag fantasy role-playing game from Cobalt Press. One price, $24.95, gets you the entire Valiant collection. The difference with the Tales of the Valiant to others is that it's not a new system, it's a polished, versatile alternative to Dungeons and Dragons that is compatible with 5th edition. It is everything you need to make your starting characters different and has upgraded abilities like talents, a wider selection of spells and martial actions. It also has downtime activities, luck points, and more. Many things over the years, but this one lightens the D&D load, and $24.95 gets you all 8 titles in the Valiant collection. Now it's broken into the Player's Guide and the Game Master's Guide. So everything you need to join the ranks of the Valiant and then build your world, craft your adventures, and run your game. Then, of course, what game is complete without the monsters or the spells? But, of course, yeah, it's all here. But to get you started, 5 adventures to get you started. These are all beginner adventures. Adventures of Denib is focused on a halfling chewer, a master wrestler, a wheeled vehicle enthusiast, and terror of the roadways. Now, it's just an introductory adventure, just like Shards of the Spellforce. Now, this is a town built on the ruins of a bygone era, and now you're facing disaster as a unknown ancient technology has been found. Trouble at Moss Beard Mill. Now we go to another town, well, the ancient woods outside another town, where the woods are alive with kobold raiders, but not is all what it seems. Next threat is the Sea of Bones, where you have the undead, various skeletons, and a madman, a renegade priest who wants to awaken a void dragon. Better get started before save the fabric of reality itself. Now, next up is the Caverns of the Spore Lord. Investigate the Mycolonid inhabitants and find out they have their own problems. It's not a matter of if, but how you solve these problems, of course. Next we have DIE, the RPG. The complete core book and scenario collections, the die collection, $14.95. This is a meta fantasy role-playing game from Rowan Rook. This was created in parallel with DIE Image comic series, 20 issues that ran from 2018 to 21. You play a group of flawed and desperate real-world adults known as personas. You are pulled back into a cursed role-playing game where, as teenagers, you barely survive. This is the realm stitched together from obsessions, dreams, nightmares. Your power play is called Paragons. Do you want to return to the real world or stay in the RPG? This was another successful Kickstarter game pitched as a fantasy golf Jumanji, where you have a bunch of classes. Each persona has a polyhedral dice. You use your class to change a particular situation, whether channeling your god's power or manipulating reality. You resolve issues and problems in a collection of settings. Now, $14.95 gets you the entire collection. Now, you start with the role-playing game that is based on and developed alongside the Die comics and 3 scenarios. This carries out the, it's a set in each volume where you have bizarre love triangles. Love is a battlefield, is a couple struggling to make it work, and childish things, where a group of adults return to the fantasy world where they spent their lives as teenagers, and what did they lose that and why is their game master violently opposed to resurrection? Sins of the past, memories, consequences, lost friends, battles you once fought. These do come across, yes, as anime. I'm pretty sure Sword Art Online was probably influential. But you get to work as a group. It's your typical problem-solving RPG. Now, there was a previous release of this, but it's saying here, you get 3 collections new. Yeah, you get these are new. An offer to die for. Now, all of this is brought to you by you, myself. Have a Patreon where I am developing RPG based on the concepts of science fantasy. I was currently using the Wine system, but I'm developing Future Fantasy as a lighter... not as a lighter, but as a more complex rule system for much broader range of scenarios, including survival horror, etc. Building up to this, of course, it's not easy, but introducing some horror elements with the with the dragon spirits, the Bogart, and more to come. Every month I'm releasing something new, trying to build, and at the same time I'm trying to build a new core system rulebook to give a much richer flavour to fantasy role-playing. Next up, we have Drive-Thru-RPG, the world's largest download store. New to Drive-Thru-RPG is Black Vans. Renegades have long associated unmarked black vans with the conspiracies of the Web of Pain. Broken on the run of conspiracies quickly learn to mistrust many kinds of vehicles, limousines and sedans with black-tinted windows, police cruisers, helicopters, and a whole host of transports used by the world militaries. But none nearly fully encapsulate the dread and suspicion of the escaped deviants and a handful of black vans gathered in one place. Too often these served as a conveyance for the masked, heavy armed capture crews, fanatical, wide-eyed cultists, or dangerously obsessed devoted, and their snarling manticore companions. This, of course, is a storyteller's guide to deviants and renegades. This is for planning and executing successful Deviants and Renegades Chronicle. This is systems and narratives for incorporating strange inhabitants of the Chronicle of Darkness into a Deviants Campaigns Chronicle adventure. This is for White Wolf. Yes. Now, this was released December 24th, and description was recently updated. This is for Deviants, the Renegades. Yes. And Renegades, yes, black vans. Yes. Definitely looks interesting. Next up, we have As the Appearance of Horses. This is for RuneQuest. Pavis is under siege by countless horde, an immortal horde, emerging from the corrupt heart of the wastes. A huge swarm of locusts covers Pavis County, devouring crops and isolating the city under a rustling dome. Only the power of the founder keeps the invader at bay, but for how long? The greenish darkness that smothers the city and despair grips the population, while rituals and processes implore the mercy of gods locked in the internal struggle and the ambitions of the powerful run wild. Will you be able to identify the origin of the plague and put an end to it? This is an adventure and a lengthy campaign at that, organised into 2 parts. You investigate the nature and the origin of the locust plague, explore temples and the sewers of New Pavis, and along the way meet a young slave to shape the destiny of the liberator and bring an end to the Third Age. There's a whole bunch of notes about time and setting. If you play RuneQuest the RPG, this is obviously a part of the canon storyline. This is an official product for RuneQuest the RPG. As the year comes to end, there are, of course, new and old Kickstarters, and this is actually updated as I was recording. This has 30 days to go. It started at almost near nothing, and it's up to 5,000 already, and I haven't even broadcast. When I was looking, this was near zero. I thought, what's going on here? But it has updated. They have a goal of 27,971. They're up to 55 backers, which is great. TerraClash is a roguelite deck building and dice RPG. Now, this is cards, dice, and an alliance of 1 to 6 players with a simple setup, infinite premise, and allegedly you'll never play the same game twice. Now, this is a print and play. You have 26 A4 sheets, and you provide your own dice. Now, no AI was used in the making of this game. This is cards, dice, and others. These alliances where you and your teammates are in a free-for-all where backstabbing is encouraged. It's a campaign of epic proportions where you wait your turn, roll your dice, and you're playing one of 8 heroes, right? You have a ever-changing world where every turn you roll a card, and that is your new setting. And of course you have negotiation, loot, and spells, and of course backstabbing. They've played and prayed, and now put this out to the world. This is Sinner's Price, People's Price. Enabled us to seize the merchant discounts. Yes. You have various card components, tokens. You have abilities, creatures, equipment, weapons and shields, relics, spells, consumable products, accessories. some lore, heroes. It's quite detailed. Probably villains from the... Yeah, for those who don't know, Roguelite is a reduced rule system where you basically play a random world, and as you die, you actually you get to come back. Now, where does it actually explain Roguelite? Because I think this is more for a fan of Roguelite than... But there's plenty of... Yeah, sorry. I thought this would explain a Roguelite, rules of the realm and how to play. Yeah. Yeah, it's a roll the dice, play a card. You got items, rules, relics, skills, equipment slots. Those slots determine what equipment you can have. You got challenges, how you're going to face them. Perhaps I should... Yeah. You build a deck. Alright. Yeah. It's typically a roguelite is a video game. It's generated by the cards, okay? There's many roguelites out there. It's based on the game called Rogue. However, unlike traditional rogue games, right? It's a twist. You have permanent upgrades to your character, but each time you start, you have new mix of actions. You have deck builder, so more and more objects are added. Key characteristics: procedural generation of maps, enemies, and items with each playthrough. Permadeath with a twist. With Roguelite, you die, but you restart with some progress intact. There are some permanent and some things you unlock, but when you die, you lose. It's a blend of genres. Roguelite is a strict adherence to the design of a grid-based, turn-based, high difficulty, no roguelike and roguelike light. Okay, roguelike is a strict grid-based, turn-based, high difficulty, no permanency. Roguelite has some permanency. It's a loop of challenge, win or lose, is gradual improvement. So until you finally beat the world or the deck, and yes, each time you restart the deck, and you can allegedly build the deck more higher, add more elements, take elements out. You can change the deck, but each time, right, deck is shuffled, and dice rolls won't be the same. So every game allegedly is not meant to be the same. You're meant to also make different decisions and play different characters each time. Now, the basic version, I think, comes in at £30 or euros. Is that pounds or euros? I think that's pounds. And okay, this is a light version of the game. So you start off with 7 land cards, right? 26 creature cards, 49 items, blah, blah, blah. But you can expand, right? And there's stretch goals, more... this is the creator. Shipping. Now, yeah, he has to face a minimum order quality. I know what that's like. I had that with my book. I did not meet the minimum order quantity. I fell short by 1. Could you believe? No. And you're not allowed to back your own project, so, otherwise I would have just tossed in that one book, right? Think you could get someone to do just at the last minute? No. Such is life, is it not? This is on its way, of course. 30 days to go, and it's getting pledges, so hopefully this is not one for the ages, but it looks interesting. Me personally, I think the video game edition would have been much better, but that's his choice. People do. I've never seen that many rogue games on tabletop, and I'm not against them. In fact, I actually was considering a rogue like game for one of the genres that genre books that I'm writing. I'm in the middle of high fantasy. I'm doing a mix. I'm doing high urban and science fantasy right now, and that's also looking at mech and many other genres. Because building a universe or setting like future fantasy, it's not just urban fantasy, right? It's it's like Traveller, right? Traveller starts off, a few little areas and grows out. Well, I'm doing pretty much the same thing myself with my setting. Lots of material. So you join now, I've got lots of material and hopefully, more to come. And yeah, I've got over 400 posts. So, bargain, really. And hopefully with your support, I can continue going and building. Working on it and getting more artwork. I may be dropping the maps. They don't seem to be very popular, and that's fine. Thank you all for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe, and please support the channel. You can support me in a number of ways. You can make a donation at Ko-Fi. You can join my Patreon. Actually, I have 2. Buy my books, buy my merch. I have 5 books out now, all part of the same series. All my links are in the link tree, which you'll find in the description below, in my profile, or scan the QR code on the screen. Thank you, each and every one of you. See you in the next video, and bye for now.